In today's video, we are going to be diving into the tactics that Liam Rosenior used to beat Brentford 2-0. Now, the first thing we do need to address is the illness that's been going around Chelsea right now. Cole Palmer and Reece James were two of these players that did not really train at all this week up into this match. And I think this was a key factor that, again, I don't think many fans realize, but both these players did not look very good. But that being said, we still got the win. And in today's video, like I said, I do want to break down the tactics, what we saw with Liam Rosenior with his first Premier League match as the manager for Chelsea, but also the takeaways and some of the things that we definitely need to maybe worry about as Chelsea fans, because there were a few blaring factors that could have made this game go completely in a different direction. Now, that being said, if we are looking at the tactics first, it's not surprising what we saw here. Cucurella, Chalobah, Tosin, though, that is a big one. Wesley Fofana did come off the bench for him when he was injured, but I think we were resting Fofana for later this week for Champions League. But then we saw Reece James, Caicedo, Enzo Fernández in the midfield, along with Cole Palmer, Garnacho, Neto, and João Pedro leading the front line. Again, I think Liam Delap was coming off the illness, so again, not surprising that he did not start this match. That being said, though, what we did see in this game was a little bit different than what we've seen in other matches, not just with Liam, but also with Chelsea in general, because yes, it does look very similar to what we've done before, but really, our guys are pushing up quite a bit. Enzo Fernández being one of these guys, and we will talk about him in a little bit because I do think he almost put in the man of the match, minus obviously Robert Sanchez. But we saw something along these lines where it did turn into almost a 2-3-4-1. And really, even Enzo Fernández almost turned into that double presser with João Pedro because he was pushing pretty much everywhere, which did lead to that goal. But the high press is something that we definitely have seen, but it's slightly different because with all the players now that we're pressing with, we're not just pressing with only two guys up top. We're pressing with almost five players, which makes it very difficult, especially for Brentford, because this did not allow them to really play the ball where they wanted to, because even if they tried playing it into the midfield, it was difficult. They couldn't really control anything in this area. And yes, if they tried to play the ball over the top, we were there to win the ball back. Shot it, yes, should have had probably multiple chances where he should have found the back of the net. Even Thiago really didn't do much in this match, but it's because of the high press that we saw with this team. Now, that being said, though, like I just said, Shada did have multiple opportunities to score in this game, but it's Robert Sanchez who had multiple saves. I believe he had 4 saves inside the box, 6 saves in total. This man was playing out of his mind. Definitely redeemed himself from the Arsenal game where he obviously had 2 errors, but really, if it wasn't for Robert Sanchez, this game could have, again, went completely in a different direction, because had he not made those crucial saves early in this match, again, Chelsea would have been chasing this match, and that would have been obviously ridiculous for them to get back in this game. But because we were able to score that goal, and like I said, it was very fortunate that it did fall to João Pedro, who again absolutely smashed it with his left foot into the upper 90. Galahad had no option or any chance to save that, but that being said, it was because of other pressure that we saw in this. Along those lines, though, we also saw Garnacho and Neto. They were running the channels quite a bit on this area, but they also had the freedom to drive into the box. This, again, allowed multiple times for us to actually have opportunities, and I believe it was Garnacho who did miss the cross from Neto, but this, again, shows us what we're seeing with Liam Rosenior and his tactics, because we are very quick with transitioning with these players. So again, if players can drive down, we can play the ball across. It's very direct. We're not just trying to hold possession too long and slowly but surely try to break them down. It's we get the ball quickly, move the ball forward, and try to again break the defense quickly as possible. And like I said, I kind of like seeing this because it allows us to be quicker and not allowing the team to set up their defensive rate. So any team that plays a low block, which we all know as Chelsea fans, is always difficult to break that low block, and especially teams like Brentford, who kind of play a mid block here, do push up a little bit. So when they have to push back and also defend, again, if you're very quick in attacking those spaces and those areas, it's difficult for them to line up properly to, again, stabilize their defense, but also know where they should be marking those players. And like I said, this is where Chelsea were able to operate and find those pockets of space and take advantage of it. And therefore, again, this allowed Chelsea then to go on and win this match. Now, yes, we obviously had a penalty. I do believe this, again, was a penalty. No surprise there. Liam Delap got to the ball first. Cole Palmer absolutely smashed the ball in, and therefore, again, this was a big win for us. But like I said, the big takeaway that we do need to look at this match is again the defense, because yes, while we did keep a clean sheet, we definitely need to again worry about these areas that again teams can keep winning the ball and driving the ball into space, because yes, Brentford again had multiple opportunities to again score in this game. If it would have been a different day, I think they would have scored. They had one off the post, a few chances that went right at Robert Sanchez, and like I said, had it been a different day, a different player shooting, scoring, this game could have been completely different. Because if you do look at the stats, Chelsea really weren't that good when you're thinking about what we saw in this game. Now, like I said, I do want to chalk up some of that to the illness, because like I said, I do think Reece James did not play his best game. Cole Palmer clearly did not play his best game, but overall, these guys still, again, put a performance out there to get the win for Chelsea. And again, it's a big win. All 3 points, and like I said, this is something that Chelsea definitely needed. We have been struggling as of lately to get a win in the Premier League. So again, all 3 points against a team like Brentford, who have been just flying high throughout the season. This is a big win, and obviously we can take this into our next match. We have Champions League, and then we follow that back with the league itself. But like I said, now for the rest of the season, we will slowly see us implementing more and more Liam Rosenior's tactics, which I do think can work out for us, but it will be a little difficult as a fan to watch this, because you just never know how it's going to turn out for us. So overall, we'll see how it turns out. So if you enjoyed this video, I greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe down below, and check out my new book down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.